Vitamin B12 deficiency. What is pernicious anemia and why can it be so dangerous? This is on The Conversation by Heidi Seeger, lecturer in psychology, Cardiff Metropolitan University. An estimated 6% of people in the US and the UK suffer from vitamin B12 deficiency. The condition is recognized by the World Health Organization as a global health problem that could impact millions of lives. B12 deficiency is typically characterized by symptoms such as extreme tiredness, lack of energy, muscle weakness, and even problems with memory. Not only that, but it can cause a number of serious health problems such as irreversible nerve damage, anxiety or depression, or disorders which affect coordination, balance, and speech. While some B12 deficiencies are caused by diet, the most common reason for low B12 levels worldwide is an autoimmune disorder called pernicious anemia. This is a chronic form of low B12 that can have serious consequences on health if left untreated long term. But because symptoms of the condition typically look like other common conditions, it's often misdiagnosed as depression or anxiety. Not only does the condition cause physical distress, the stigma of living with this chronic condition can also cause serious psychological harm, as I've shown in my research. B12, vitamin B12, otherwise known as cobalamin, is a water-soluble vitamin found in animal byproducts such as meat, fish, and dairy. Other sources include fortified cereal, breads, and plant milks. People who don't regularly consume animal products are at risk of becoming deficient in B12. To reduce this risk, vegans are recommended to consume at least 3 micrograms of B12 daily through fortified foods or by taking a regular B12 supplement. However, most low B12 levels are more caused by pernicious anemia. It's a condition. It makes it difficult for people to process vitamin B12 because the immune system impacts on the functioning of important parietal cells within the stomach. These cells produce a protein called intrinsic factor, which is essential for vitamin absorption. People with pernicious anemia will produce an antibody to intrinsic factor that destroys any intrinsic factor that has been produced. And so without any intrinsic factor to bind the food, they are unable to extract any B12. Without B12, the body is not able to produce enough healthy red blood cells. The condition can also be caused by weakened stomach lining. This may happen because of atrophic gastritis, chronic inflammation in the stomach, and eventually weakens the lining. A lifelong condition? An estimated 5 in every 100,000 people in the UK have pernicious anemia. It affects people of all ages, and symptoms can start at any time. However, the condition is more common in people over 60 years old, as older adults are more likely to develop atrophic gastritis, which increases the risk of B12 deficiency. The number of people with the condition worldwide might be higher than estimated. However, it's difficult to reliably estimate levels of B12 deficiency because there is no agreed definition of how low B12 levels must be to be classified as deficient. New guidelines have been made to address problems with current diagnosis methods. They state that a patient's symptoms are the best indicator of any deficiency. It also states that if there is inconsistency with the test results and the patient's reported symptoms, the patient should still be treated with replacement B12 to prevent any potential irreversible damage. B12 deficiency causes a wide range of debilitating neurological and physical symptoms. The most common symptom of pernicious anemia are fatigue, memory loss, and problems with concentration. However, the subtle, non-specific nature of the condition's initial symptoms can make it difficult to properly diagnose people. One study interviewing members of the Pernicious Anemia Society found that nearly half had been misdiagnosed. A further 20% had waited 2 years or more for a proper diagnosis. For many, symptoms were initially attributed to a hectic lifestyle or diagnosed as anxiety or depression. Low levels of B12 can lead to nerve damage, as the vitamin is essential to producing myelin, which protects nerve cells from damage. Symptoms of low B12 might initially feel like tingling or numbness in hands and feet, or difficulty with balance. If pernicious anemia is left untreated, symptoms can become debilitating and nerve damage irreversible. The term pernicious was used to describe the condition as historically it resulted in death. When vitamin B12 deficiency is caused by poor diet, it's treated with prescribing B12 tablets or injections of hydroxycobalamin, and once the deficiency has been corrected, levels can be managed by changing diet or regularly taking a supplement. However, treatment is lifelong for people with pernicious anemia. In the UK, many need frequent injections every 8 to 12 weeks to replace the vitamin. Despite this, many people continue experiencing debilitating symptoms or find their symptoms return before their next scheduled injection because their treatment has not been sufficient. When patients raised concerns about insufficient treatment or requested more frequent injections, our research found that many healthcare professionals responded negatively, even questioning the legitimacy of the patient's illness. These kinds of questions can increase psychological distress and impact on quality of life. Patients with pernicious anemia also anticipated high levels of health-related stigma. Many people with chronic health conditions fear that their health status will lead them to be devalued by wider society or be a source of discrimination. Stigma not only impacts on relationships with health care providers, but can cause increased incidence of anxiety and depression. The lack of appropriate guidelines for diagnosis and treatment of pernicious anemia is problematic, and there is an urgent need for this to be reviewed. It's important that both the general public and health professionals have increased awareness of the symptoms that arise from inadequate levels of B12, so that the condition can be diagnosed before long-term damage occurs. Now, according to Healthline, the top 12 foods that are high in vitamin B12, it's an essential nutrient, as we said, that your body can't make on its own, so you need to get it from your diets or supplements. Vegetarians, pregnant or breastfeeding women, and others at high risk of deficiency may want to track their diets closely to make sure they're getting enough. The vitamin D, these are the 12 healthy foods that are very high in vitamin B12. One is animal liver and kidneys. In other words, liver. Organ meats are some of the most nutritious foods out there. Liver, kidneys, especially from lamb, are rich in vitamin B12. I personally like chicken livers with a beautiful wine sauce and tomato sauce. Fantastic over some rice or some potatoes. While lamb liver is higher in vitamin B12 than beef or veal, the latter two contain about 990% of the RDA per 3.5 ounces. Clams is number 2. Clams are small, chewy shellfish packed with nutrients. The mollusk is a source of protein and high concentrations of vitamin B12. You can get more than 3,300% of RDI in just 20 small clams. 3 is sardines. Sardines. 1 cup of sardines, 150 grams serving, more than double the RDI for vitamin B12. 4 is beef. It's an excellent source of vitamin B12. 1 grilled flat iron steak provides about 200% of the RDI for vitamin B12. The 5th food that is high in vitamin B12, fortified cereal. Although not commonly recommended as part of the health diet, fortified cereals can be a good source of vitamin B12 and vitamins. 1 Malta-Meal high-fiber bran flake offers 137% of the RDI for vitamin B12. The 6th is tuna. 3.5 ounce, that's 100 gram serving of fish tuna. Fresh tuna consists of 160% of the RDI for vitamin B12. 7 is fortified nutritional yeast, good vegan source of protein, vitamins, and minerals. 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast contains about up to 130% of RDI vitamin B12. 8 is trout, rainbow trout, considered to be one of the healthiest fish there is. 3.5 ounces, 100 gram serving. It's about 125% of the RDI of vitamin B12. Salmon, I love salmon. Salmon, well known, it provides an incredible amount of omega-3 fatty acids. And how much of a percentage? It doesn't say 80% of the RDI for vitamin B12. Number 10, fortified non-dairy milk. While soy, almond, and rice milks are not naturally high in vitamin B12, they are usually fortified, making them an excellent source of this vitamin. They only have 45% of the RDI, though. 11, milk and dairy products. 1 cup of whole milk gives you 18% of RDI, of vitamin B12. Among all kinds of cheeses, Swiss cheese has been shown to have the highest vitamin B12. Full-fat plain yogurt can also be a decent source. And interesting studies have shown that the body absorbs about the vitamin B12 in milk and dairy products better than the vitamin B12 in beef, fish, or eggs. 12 is eggs. Eggs are a great source of complete protein B vitamins, especially B2 and B12. It'll give you 28% of the RDI vitamin B2 and 22% of RDI vitamin B12. And the study shows that egg yolks are higher levels of vitamin B12 than the egg whites. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.